Hey, what's up guys, Auto Fanatic. So today I'm gonna be doing a drive review of the Honda Civic Type R. A lot of guys hate the styling, a lot of guys love the styling, but to be honest with you, the car is so damn good from a driver's perspective and from the engineering. That's why I wanted to show a drive review video on the Auto Fanatic channel for you guys, because the hot hatch segment is really popular. And like I said, I have really good seat time in the Ford Focus RS and also the Golf R. So if you look at the car here, this is in Rally Red. It's got some OZ Racing rally type wheels. That is a real throwback to the Group B rally cars, such as, you know, from Peugeot and from Lancia back in the days. And I actually like the look. These are also 18-inch to 20-inch that come on the car are off the car. And this also has Michelin Pilot Sport 4S. So the car is really interesting as far as the design. I mean, it's not one of those things where I think you would call it sexy or something that, you know, you really get attracted to, but I think the car's engineering is totally 100% purpose built. And just want to show you guys some of the little design attributes. You know, it's got a lot of aerodynamics, you know, built into the design of the car. It's very Japanese, very unique. Does not look like anything else on the road right now. So you can see that there. You got a lot of air intakes into the bumper. Got one in the hood. Now this thing has an inline turbocharged 4-cylinder, 306 horsepower, 295 foot-pounds of torque. It has an incredible smooth shifting manual gearbox, and it also has some amazing sport seats as well. The exhaust system is not that loud to begin with, but like I said, you got some, you know, crazy funky wing out back, but this was all designed for aerodynamics. This was not designed just for, you know, bling and just to make this thing into something different that's on the block, but you could see it there. It's a pretty cool car. I mean, like I said, it's one of those things where you have to really decide what you want. If you're looking for a performance package that's under 40 grand, this car definitely should be on your radar. You should also look at, you know, like the Golf R, and there's a couple other cars out there in the segment. But as far as all the other cars, this is front wheel drive and is probably the best engineered and driving front wheel drive car that I've ever driven in my life. Based on the architecture and the sophistication of the front geometry and the suspension system with the upright mounts on the shocks as well. It also has adaptive shock absorbers, one of the best EPS systems, electronic power steering systems, that I've actually driven on a front wheel drive car, that it doesn't pull and throw you all over the road with torque steer. So that's pretty much it. I'm not going to talk too much else about the exterior of the car and about the bells and whistles and features. We want to get in the car. I want to drive it on some of my favorite roads, and I'm going to talk to you all about it right now. So stay tuned to the rest of the video. All right, guys, so got the camera strapped in the car. I'm just going to take you guys on some roads here just so you can get a little bit of a feedback as far as how well the Honda Civic Type R drives. Now, something I'll talk to you guys about, because like I said, I want to talk specifically in this video on how well this car drives. Some of the little things that I don't like about it, for one, is the position of the pedals. The pedals are very upright, very similar to the Ford Focus RS. Not really a fan of that, just because they just don't go in line with a lot of the cars that I own and the cars that I drive and work on a regular basis. But we're on a really bad road right now, and this car is an absolute dream to drive. The front end of this car is so sharp and so direct, and it has really good feedback. So as you push it into a corner, you could feel the inside tire bite and want to throw the steering wheel back. So you're going to get that steering wheel feedback. And that's what a lot of cars today, they don't get with electronic power steering. They make them very numb. And in particular, BMW is really bad with that. I don't know why. They over-engineer the cars, and the steering just doesn't have that feedback that everybody loves. That's an enthusiast that loves to drive these cars. So I got to say, for what they did with the limited slip differential and a front wheel drive platform with a sophisticated suspension, it actually has that feedback. So as you're going into a corner, you could feel the caster angle and the geometry of the suspension change, and you feel that it's trying to push you back on center. And that's what I really like about this car, is that it sounds pretty good, you know, for a stock exhaust. The shifter is amazing. The gears are very tightly spaced together, so once you get used to it, you can flip through these gears rather quickly. But the car is an absolute dream to drive, and this is a nice, smooth, windy road. We've got some little bit of dips and elevations, and it feels phenomenal. Hit the limiter there. So the engine's got 306 horsepower, 295 foot-pounds of torque. The car is not very heavy. It's a tick over 3,100 pounds. I think it's 3,120 as far as the curb weight. And to be honest with you, it's not light and it's not super heavy. So it's just right there with a good power to weight ratio. But the car's fun. You know, that's what I'm all about, is the fun factor of a car. You know, does it put a smile on your face? Every time you get in it, is it going to give you something in return that makes you really love driving that car? And this car really does that. And that's why I wanted to show it on my channel. And like I said, once things get back to normal, I'm going to be doing a lot more car review videos, because that's just really where my passion is at, you know, with the channel and what I like to do every day. So right there, you could feel that tire just bite. You could feel it in the front end, and then it just pulls you right through. Does it again, that's the opposite side, and it pulls you right through. So that's what's really cool about this car, is that the handling is very predictable. Okay, with a front wheel drive car, that's always kind of like hit or miss, because you always feel that the torque of the car is going to throw you into the person next to you or into a guardrail, and that's usually how it was back in the days. But Honda really engineered this front end superb, absolutely superb. It's got really good braking as well. You got the 4-piston Brembos up front. The brake pad compound is like a medium compound. It's not very hard, not very soft, so it's good for the street. I don't think these pads would be great for the track. I definitely would upgrade the pads if I was going to go aggressive or autocross or anything like that. But a little bit of wheel spin. And we're in R mode right now. And even in the most aggressive drive mode, the suspension is so compliant. That's because the spring rates and the shock valving was so masterfully tuned. And I love when cars are like that. Like my Alfa Romeo Giulia Quadrifoglio, it's perfect. Like when you get into a car and the back end of it doesn't hop over bad roads, and in New York we have a lot of those bad roads, so it's really hard to find a balance between a good performance car that's not going to beat you up every day. And the owner of this car, my buddy, he drives this car all over the place. This is his daily driver. He drives it all over the New York's tri-state area, outside of state and everything. This is his work car, okay? And now, like I said, I questioned him when he bought it. I was like, what made you buy this? And he says, go drive it. Go drive the car and you tell me why I bought it. And as soon as I drove it a number of months ago, I was like, yeah, this damn thing is good. This is a good car. It's fun. You know, feel the body lean in just a little bit. And this car has no mods to it. This is just like the only mods that are on the car are the smaller wheels and tires with the Michelin Pilot Sport 4S. And, you know, I've been pushing him to do an exhaust and intake and all that, but he, you know, like I said, this is his daily driver. And the situation is, with a small displacement 4-cylinder, if you throw big pipes in the car, you're going to get drone. You're going to go nuts driving this thing locally, and your wife or your girlfriend or whoever is going to be in the car is going to hate it. So that's another thing too about some of these tuner cars. If somebody makes a really high-end active exhaust, I'm all for it. You know, definitely do it. But the car has, from the factory, some nice resonance, a little bit of drone, but it's tuned into the cabin really nicely that at least you could hear something. You know, I would like a little bit more, but you got to understand, it's OEM. This is what they're going to give you. They're not going to give you something that may piss off, you know, 80% of the people that might go in there and cross-shop this car with another vehicle out there that may have a push-button active exhaust. So, yeah, this car is an absolute blast. I mean, it just carves every road that you take it on. And the front end has got that bite. You know, the front end on a lot of front-wheel drive cars gets very loose, very light. It's not very communicative. And on this car, it is phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. This is the best driving front-wheel drive car that I think I've ever been in. I mean, these are some sharp corners right here. And you feel the corner just hunker down, squat. You feel the back end of the car just go right into that corner, and it just pulls you through. It's unbelievable, the balance of this car. So that's why I want to take you guys along for a drive. I mean, I think if anybody out there, you know, wants a performance car and has a budget, you know, this thing is definitely worth considering. I mean, I don't care what anybody says, because this is a good car. This is a really good car. I take it up on this road over here. I usually blast through this one. Oh, Giulia Quadrifoglio behind me. All right, let's go. I wish it had a higher RPM, but that's just with the turbocharged engines. But I mean, this road, I feel that limited slip. It's pulling you through. Look at this. I mean, it's just unbelievable how much fun this car is. Unbelievable that I could fly through back roads like this with absolute confidence every single time. It's got the brakes, it's got the steering, it's got the handling, it definitely has the power, and it has a really good gearbox. Woo! Man, this is awesome. Absolutely awesome. Love it. Absolutely love this thing. Oh my God. That was fun. That was a lot of fun. Now we're just gonna go do it again on the way back. Watch the blind spot. See, right there, the brakes are starting to get a little overheated. That's where I think a better pad would be much better if you're gonna drive like this. You know, if you're gonna get really aggressive with the car. But my God, this thing is good. Hope you guys could hear the resonance of the drone in the audio. I won't know until I go into editing, but my God, with these 4S tires and this chassis, woo! My God. I go through this road a lot with a lot of cars that I test out and cars that I own, and I actually think that I whipped through it the fastest in this car just now. Oh my God. Man, that was fun. See, that got my heart going. That gives me that little bit of that, you know, enthusiasts will get it. It's that little bit of anxiety you get when you get into a car, you know, and you're pushing it to that limit, you know, between 8/10 and 10/10. You're just really getting on it hard. And, you know, you find your favorite back road, you know, you really tend to enjoy what you've got behind the, you know, behind the wheels. This was a lot of fun. This really was. Wow. Very, very impressed. Very impressed. And I hope the visual of being in the cockpit and me going through those roads, you know, could really probably get some of you guys out there that may have never considered this car to go out and drive one. That's all I want to tell you guys. If this video, that's all I want out of this video, is I want enthusiasts to go out and drive this car and drive it on one of your best roads. You know, if you can't, you know, find somebody on a forum, be friends with somebody, just ask to go for a drive. And I tell you right now, I think you're going to be so surprised on how good this car is, and there's a good chance that you may want to buy one. And I'm going to tell you right now, this thing is awesome. For a daily, this thing is awesome. And this guy had to just totally ruin that for me. Had a little torque pull right there. Very little. I mean, this is where you enjoy this car. So you could go on these back windy roads, and, you know, fortunately in New York, you know, we have bad roads, you know, in the cities and all that. But up north, where I'm at now, you know, we get some really good driving roads. And this is really where you get to enjoy the car. Take the day off, go on a weekend, and just enjoy the car. You know, we have some amazing driving roads, and that's, you know, a lot of people don't get roads like this. I mean, look at them. They're smooth, scenic. You have different elevations and declines, and it just really makes you appreciate a good car, because everything comes into factor when you're on good roads like this. You know, you really have to understand that you're really putting the chassis, the front end, and the brakes. Everything is really put to the limit to see how everything works as a system. You know, you want a performance car to work as a system. You don't want it to just be fast in a straight line and then it doesn't stop. Or when you go into a corner, the back end of the car feels like it's going to kill you. You know, I'm not all for that. I love cars that are balanced. And the Honda Civic Type R, this is a cool car, man. This thing is awesome. So I hope you guys are enjoying coming along for this drive with me today, because I'll tell you right now, I'm having a hell of a blast. Just got to get some of these cars off the road. Yeah, this car is an absolute dream. Absolute dream. See, look how cool this is. The road just goes down and then shoots right up and boom, banks into another corner. Yeah, this is what it's all about, guys. This is why you buy a good performance car. This is where you just forget about what this car looks like if you hate styling and you just realize why you spent this kind of money. It's for the fun factor. You know, you're buying the car either to impress your friends as far as looks, or you're buying it for your own satisfaction to be behind the wheel every single time you turn a corner or hit the brakes or the throttle. You want to have something in return, something that connects with you sensory, you know, and the sensory experience is also a very emotional experience. And that's the, oh my God. Oh man. Wow. This is some road. I'm not telling you guys where this road is, but maybe it's funny. I have so many guys that watch this channel in the New York area and they all spot where I drive all these cars. It's unbelievable. Now, I had the Ford Focus RS for a complete day. When I did that video on the Auto Fanatic channel, I'll link it at the end of this video, at the end screen. I enjoyed that car a lot. And the one thing that I loved about the Ford Focus RS that may not appeal to a lot of people was how stiff the suspension was and the spring rates and the shock valving. Personally, I like that. It just felt like a race car. It has a very race car suspension feel as far as the way it handles up and down. I didn't love the steering. This steering is way better. These seats are way better. And I'm having a hell of a lot more fun in this car than I am in that car. Because the suspension in the Honda Civic Type R does not punish you at all. Whereas on the Ford Focus RS, that car just beats you up. It really does. Yeah, the brakes could be a little bit better, you know, for my needs. I just like a little bit more grab, you know, when you're heating them up, when the brakes are hot, and then you're gonna go through a transition on some of these roads. Like right there, like when I hit the brake, I just want a little bit more stab so I could feel the back end a little bit more to see if I could get it to come around. See, these blind spots, you gotta watch. You really gotta watch. Little wheel spin right there. Which is pretty cool that you could get a little of that in a front wheel drive car and it doesn't feel stupid. Man, this thing is a blast. I can't believe how much fun I'm having with this car. And I really hope you guys that are watching this video kind of get it as well, because you guys got to go out there and drive one of these. That's all you got to do is just go out and drive one of these cars. And drive it on a road like I'm on right now by yourself, if you can. I think you're going to buy it. This thing is awesome. Is good. I think this is going to be a long video. I think I'm going to put a lot of the drive scenes in this video. I'm just enjoying this too much, and I want you guys to just get an experience of what I'm doing here, because I'm going through these roads. I'm not even going to tell you the speeds, but that's that. So guys, I'm gonna finish my drive and then I'm gonna pull over and I'm gonna give you guys my final thoughts on the Honda Civic Type R. So stay tuned the rest of the video. All right guys, just pulled over and that was one of the most fun days in a car that I've had for the entire year of 2020. Let me just get out of the car and I'll talk some more about the Honda Civic Type R. So Let's just get out of here. Also, these seats, these are Recaros. These are absolutely phenomenal seats. And I have some serious back issues and actually got hurt a number of weeks ago. I don't have one stitch of pain or any fatigue in these seats for driving this car all day. So, like I said, this is, that's it. That's the Civic Type R. That's the review by Auto Fanatic. This was my favorite car that I've driven in 2020 so far. This car is absolutely incredible. Love it or hate the styling, I don't really care. The performance of this car is phenomenal. Absolutely love it. I also think that by switching out the tires to the Pilot Sport 4S, it makes the car much more predictable, and it also gives the car more grip. Now, a couple of things that I'll talk about on the car as far as what I would improve in the car, based on my opinion. I would probably put an exhaust on it, possibly a good active exhaust, something that you could turn on and off with a switch inside the car. I don't think I want to put down pipes and bigger pipes and deal with the drone. That's just my personal opinion. Now, another thing that I would do on the roads that I was on, they were very challenging because there's a lot of dips, inclines, in and outs, left turns, right turns. The brake hardware is great. It's up to the job. I would personally put a much better brake pad on the car. Either like an EBC yellow stuff, EBC blue stuff, Carbotech XP8, that would probably be the pad that I would put on this car. Probably just in the fronts. I wouldn't do it in the rear because the car is so light. You don't want to have too much braking in the rear. It's going to smack you, have the back end of the car come out. But one thing I also want to tell you, suspension tuning on this car is one of the best that I've driven in a long, long time. The compression, the rebound, the spring rates from the factory is unbelievable. The ride quality is unbelievable. The handling is sharp, it's quick, it's nimble. It does everything that you want, and it's 100% predictable. There's never a time that you're in this car and you're pushing it when you're accelerating into a corner or out of a corner that this car is gonna scare you. Now, another cool thing that I wanna talk about that I noticed in like the Ford Focus RS, the back of the car would hop a lot. That's because of the springs and the dampening was so damn stiff and aggressive. On this car, I never once felt the back end of the car hop or lose composure. Now, when the back of the car hops on a light car, it's only 3,126 pounds. That also means that you're losing traction when the car comes off the ground as far as when you're hitting bumps. This car stays planted. The back of the car always communicated with the front of the car. I never once felt that this car was doing something that was unpredictable. And I drove the crap out of this car all day today. And I showed you guys just a portion of what I did with the car, just to give you guys a little bit of feedback as far as what this car is capable of. But I'm gonna tell you one thing, this car is damn impressive. Another thing too, the gearbox is great. I would probably find a little bit of a better short shift kit for it, something that's a little bit more mechanical as far as the feel. That's just something that I would do to the car. I think it would just make the car a little bit more enjoyable when you're going on those very fast, twisty back roads like I went on today for you guys. So overall, this car is a home run. One of the best packages I ever driven in all of 2020. Actually, one of the best cars I've ever driven in my life. Super impressed. Like I said, the styling, love it or hate it. I don't really care about that. The reason I'm showing this car on my channel and I'm talking about it is because the performance and the engineering is so damn good. And this car has to be on your shopping list if this is what you're looking for. Because you could drive this car daily, you could autocross it, you could track it, you could go on those windy back roads. Every single time you get into this car, you are going to enjoy it, okay? And that's why some performance cars really appeal to guys like me and guys like you that are probably watching this video, is because this car delivers. It delivers on every category whatsoever. I don't care about the audio system sucking. I don't care about the infotainment and all the other bells and whistles with the touchscreen. You don't buy this car for that. You don't buy this car for the luxuries. You're buying this car for what went into the engineering of the platform, the chassis, the suspension. Another thing I want to mention too on this car, the wheels are a 5-on-120 bolt pattern. That's the bolt circle for where the lugs are mounted onto the hub. 5-on-120 is used by BMW exclusively. Now, being that Honda went up to a larger bolt pattern, that means that they also engineered the front spindle and the front hub and the hubs in the rear to be larger. Larger hub equals a stiffer hub. A stiffer hub with a larger, stiffer spindle equals a better suspension. So when you're going through the turns, and the suspension is going through geometry changes with the toe and with the caster and Ackerman angles and all stuff like that, you actually want the stiffness coming from the wheels, where the wheels are anchored to. When the spindle and the hub is not stiff, you actually transmits into negative feedback into the car, which you don't want, and it makes the car feel very unpredictable. And engineering, you know, as far as a lot of modern cars today, they're starting to wake up and they're starting to do that same philosophy on developing the stronger, stiffer upright, and as far as the wishbone suspension, and the larger bearing and the larger spindle up as far as the hub goes. So other than that, like I said, this car is a home run. I hope you guys really enjoyed the video as much as I enjoyed driving it and enjoying, you know, having this car and showing it on the Auto Fanatic channel. And like I said, please subscribe to the channel. There's gonna be a lot more drive reviews coming towards the end of 2020. This is my passion. This is what I really, really love to do. I show a lot of different stuff on my channel. I haven't done a drive review in quite a number of months because of, you know, the lockdown we were going through for, you know, 7 months now. But this is really where I want to focus. I want to start focusing on more drive review videos, discuss the engineering, discuss what I feel is important in a car, not the bells and whistles, not all the little features and stuff like that. You know, this is all about performance because that's my lifestyle. My lifestyle always revolved around modifying performance cars and supporting professional race teams around the world with a lot of stuff that I've done over the years. So thanks for watching this video. Stay tuned for more content, and I'm going to get back in and I'm going to have some more fun. So hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys in the next video real soon. Thanks again.